Oliver attacked Guy and made the ground collapse beneath him. Oliver jumped and then tried to slash Guy, but he dodged. After that, he threw crazy lightning, but it also missed. Oliver was maintaining his balance in the fight. At that moment, Guy realized that Oliver's natural talent was mediocre. "Come on, hit me first," Guy yelled and attacked Oliver. Oliver tried to use magic to deflect the sword and then counterattack, but Guy noticed and it didn't work. Guy said that Oliver fought no differently than an expanded textbook. However, the next slash directly scratched Oliver's face like a textbook. Studying is very important, isn't it, friends? Hearing this, the spectators watching the battle became angry. On this side, Katie found that the previous lightning magic made her realize there was something strange on the roof. On the other side, Faye and Sue looked weak. Sue asked Faye if she wanted to help her win. Faye started to recall their childhood, fighting, but there's time to reminisce. Faye remembered that she should have been killed like a stray dog, but Sue saved her and asked her father for permission to keep her. So, Faye said, "Whatever you want, I'll do it." Hearing this, Sue conjured a false moon. Faye saw the moon and immediately transformed into a werewolf. Then, they both joined and attacked together. With the body of a werewolf, Faye was very strong. Nano attacked but was unsuccessful. Additionally, Sue could release electricity at any time. Sue was angry and swore not to be Chella's backup. On this side, Guy asked Oliver if he wouldn't save his two friends. Oliver said, "There is a weak wolf, so how can you defeat my friend?" He didn't understand why Sue kept bothering him. "But first, let's get rid of the face transformation," he said. He suspected that to enroll in this academy, Face was a half-human, half-wolf. So, when transforming into a wolf, he must be in great pain. To win, you make your friend suffer like this. However, X frowned. "Since childhood, my father never praised me but was very good to Chella. So, how can someone born with everything like Chella understand people who have to struggle to get everything like us?" Then they resumed fighting. Nano said that Chella was wrong because just asking was not enough, because these two had risked their lives in this battle. If you fight people who are so determined without giving your all, it is very disrespectful to them. Chella also realized this and decided to fight quickly so that Face wouldn't suffer too much. Sue heard this and became even angrier. "Are you insulting us?" Here they exchanged 200 moves, but there was still no winner. Guy kept taunting Oliver out of moves. But Oliver said, "I am not hurt by your taunts." Guy seemed less confident than his appearance suggested. The way Guy taunted Oliver was like a weak person trying to bring others down to feel better. Guy waited until the two were very close and then activated a freeze on the opponent. It turned out Oliver was fine because he had calculated everything. Although this magic was very strong, Guy had no basic knowledge of attack and defense at very close range. Here, Faye rushed to separate the two because they were far apart, so there was no worry. Nano attacked, so they both calmly attacked. Chella saw this and cast an electric spell, but Sue was not afraid because the face in this form was resistant to electricity. But strangely, the two were thrown because of the shock. Chella said she had changed the nature of the electricity not to focus on damage but to spread paralysis. Faye was fine but Sue was hit, so they both lost. But Sue still tried to attack. Here, two men held hands from top to bottom of the trench but didn't let go. Guy asked, "How long do you want to hold hands?" Oliver replied, "In a fight, I am not as strong as you, but I am the king of persistence, so I want to test your endurance." Here Sue still lost, and Chella said, "You haven't trained your heart strong enough." Guy felt that if this continued, he would lose. He swung his arm but immediately received a painful kick. Before he could even process the pain, Oliver added a wind punch that sent him flying several meters. Guy officially lost. Z had already lost for the third time and knelt crying, "Why do I keep trying but can't win? Have you ever tried so hard in life but didn't get the results like this?" Faye comforted, "We're just too weak and haven't tried hard enough." Chella didn't understand why her friend hated her, but Faye said, "You're not wrong, it's just that you shine too brightly." Sue was born into a branch family, and her family was only a backup if the main family branch had problems. In other words, according to tradition, Chella's father had to have two children, one for the main branch and one for the additional branch. Sue was Chella's half-sister but was not acknowledged by her father and sister. She was just a backup. No matter how hard she tried, her father didn't care about her. So, winning against Chella was her last hope to be recognized as her father's child. Even though she knew that winning wouldn't change anything, Sue still clung to it to keep living and striving. Nano said, "You can't replace anyone. For example, if Chella were gone, would you have to cherish me to replace her? So, live as yourself." Hearing that, Sue finally understood. Oliver saw the situation and suggested Guy try fighting with Chella. But Guy also wanted to reminisce and gather everything before saying that he once had a friend who was the child of a servant in his house, and they both played chess together. The child was very foolish, but by reading books seriously and diligently, he finally managed to defeat Guy for the first time. Seeing him win, my heart was as happy as if liberated. I thought this was something worth showing off, so I told my father. My father was so shocked that it surprised me. I waited for him to come to play chess, but unexpectedly, he never came again and his whole family was treated that way. Since then, Njai has become obsessed with winning, not just for himself but also for his family. Unfortunately, he lost and called on monsters to handle the situation, asking them to erase our memories of today, but that would ruin the storyline. Both sides attacked each other. I had made traps using ropes and leaves so we could all hide. When Faye came in, she was scared because she thought they didn't deserve to be saved, so I had to shout for them to listen. There were rope traps, but we had to wait for Smell to drive away Katie's insects so they would leave. However, Smell couldn't hold out long, so we had to think of another way. Maybe erasing the memory of this battle wasn't so bad, but Nana wanted to win for Njai. Even if he didn't have the right to acknowledge the person who defeated him, it was very sad. We didn't intend to give up. Oliver said that if we fought, it was like gambling. Pete said Oliver wasn't a babysitter. They could fight after discussing the strategy. We replaced Smell with Smell who sucked the insects. This time, Chella would bring out her trump card. It turned out Chella was half fairy and she began to grow fairy wings just as the bees destroyed the traps and attacked. We all worked together to shoot and kill some bees. The advantage of being a fairy is being able to use double-layered magic. When the opponent was off guard, Nanao rode a broom and attacked, making Njai fall. Then there was a duel between Nanao and Njai. Nanao said winning or losing is a matter of two people, even the gods can't change reality. Njai laughed broadly and then attacked, but lost in one move. Friends were confused about how Chella could turn into a fairy and asked why she didn't use her powers earlier. Chella said winning with a physical advantage was unfair and she wanted to be near Sue because it had been a long time since they met. Besides, her father brought Sue's laurel ring that she used when she was little. Where did you keep it? Do you have a bag like Dune? Chella couldn't call Sue her sister, but she always carried this ring because it was Sue's precious item. Hearing this, Sue felt happy but still called her stupid. Njai fainted for a moment before waking up after the absolute defeat. He felt relieved. Men can't be friends without fighting. Oliver invited Njai for a duel again when he became stronger. Even though by then Njai might be very strong, Oliver was confident he would also be strong enough to continue the adventure in today's labyrinth, which finally closed. All groups left happily, but below many monsters suddenly appeared and captured Njai. The promise was no more, everyone was scared and ran away. Faye and Pete were caught. Outside, Anbin and Carlot were with everyone closing the labyrinth entrance. Oliver ran away to tell his brother that his friends had been captured. 8 other incidents also occurred because Ophelia had been trapped by magic. Hearing this, Oliver felt horrified because he had previously been warned not to enter the labyrinth in the coming months. Inside the labyrinth, Ophelia had captured all the students in a cage, and then led all the students to prepare to act. Ophelia was their good friend, not to mention an important figure in the student organization. They couldn't just stand by. Anbin saw Faye and Ophelia moving. Carlot said if they failed, everything would be handled by Anbin. Oliver's group waited for several days without any news from Pete. Guy was worried because he didn't know if the students were serious about searching for her. Katie and Chella told him to stay calm. Oliver agreed because they were all weak and couldn't do anything yet. Guy said at least if they were captured together, he could cook for Pete. Don't joke, said Nanao. If we're caught, we'll only be eating sorrowful rice. Guy was angry because Nanao spoke inappropriately. Nanao said in her village, being caught meant an 80% chance of meeting their ancestors. Oliver reassured them not to be pessimistic because Mez's trap was designed to capture them alive, so Ophelia needed them alive, though it was unclear what Ophelia intended to do. Oliver then became anxious and sought his older siblings for help. But Ophelia's place on the 3rd floor was very dangerous and he couldn't just mobilize the organization's members carelessly. Oliver felt powerless. Katie asked for help from Teacher Gallon, but he said Pete's case wasn't serious enough for him to search for her. The teacher could only start searching after a student had been missing for 3 days. 3 days. Your friend has long been dead, said the teacher. Katie, don't be naive in thinking the teacher will always help. Chella also wanted to help. She went to ask her father for assistance but was also rejected because at this school if you don't have the power to protect yourself, you will eventually lose your friends again. So, she told Pete that tonight she would enter the labyrinth without caring about anything to find Pete. Oliver thought she was crazy because she might just go down to sell salt. Do you think? Chella cried directly when Pete was captured. She stepped back because she thought he would live, and that's the way to save the whole group. This is a rather complicated text and it seems there are some transcription errors. However, I will try to provide an understandable translation of the paragraph. Oliver wanted to go along, but Chella disagreed because the 3 of them didn't see the existence of the 2 children, and Oliver was very angry and insisted not to let Chella go alone. Meanwhile, Vera was also there and smiled. Katie wanted to make a deal with Vera. You can do anything, but please save my friend, she said. Everyone went crazy. Oliver asked Vera to let his sister go, but Katie refused vehemently. Vera said that with Ophelia's personality, there was a chance of life as big as a toe. Ophelia wanted to pursue magical knowledge, so she wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice them. Vera said that their research was stagnant, so she wanted to study with Katie. Vera proposed to train the whole group because Ophelia was stronger than Vera, so there was hope if they worked together. If not, all the children would end up in pictures with an old statue. After this incident, Vera wanted Katie to become her partner and do research together. Katie agreed, and Oliver asked if she was serious. Vera told them to stay calm and said they would listen to the story after they returned. When they decided to go down to the labyrinth, Nana also wanted to go with them. Whether she wanted to pick up her friend or a corpse, she wanted to go with them. Chella couldn't say anything and preferred this to anything else. Katie was sad because she was too weak to go with the others. Nana told her to take care of the tasks in class and asked her to copy the work. Katie agreed happily and waited for her friends to return. Guy was also sad because he couldn't go with them. However, Guy gave some tree seeds to Oliver to make a fence and some bot for them to eat on the way. Oliver promised to bring Pete back before they left. Vera gave her hand to Katie to hold. If your brother goes to sell salt, Minnie will replace your brother. Oliver told them both to stay calm and wait for them to come back. They then continued down the rocky path towards the labyrinth. Pete woke up with the look of "Where am I? Who is this?" When Ophelia went to check on her, the captured children quickly fell asleep or did not sleep. Pete, being small, managed to escape the 80-second accident. Vera explained during the journey how sucker birds from generation to generation always mixed with various genes from many species to create the most perfect individual. This experiment had failed and the sucker bird tribe became extinct, but Ophelia's Sabato family had found a way to use the sucker bird's womb as an aquarium to create the desired creatures to create Kima, so Ophelia needed a lot of energy. Therefore, she had to capture many people to gather energy. Ophelia only needed male magical power, but then her friends were Icelandic. Oliver said, "Oh, speaking a bit, my friends told Vera since she is now an ally, so there's no harm." Vera was surprised because Pete was very special. But the situation seemed serious because if Ophelia found out that Pete was a little girl, she would sell salt immediately. Generally, Oliver didn't think Mako was still alive at the base and wondered, how could Mako have escaped? Some, like Guy, said they didn't want to force me. Vera saw this as a sign. A good sign because the children of Kima listened to Ophelia's commands and acted with clear intent, which meant that Ophelia was still reasonable. Vera gave each of Ophelia's boys an anti-aroma medicine. Here, the council team split into two teams to search the area when the council met the Englishman, Kevin. Kevin gave them 2 books, saying they were diaries. He joked, "These are detailed maps of the 3rd floor." Then he said goodbye to both of them and went to explore further. On this side, Oliver's group met with the children at the dining table. Previously, they had to be avoided, but now it was necessary to move forward. So, Vera became a model once more to teach the little ones. Generally, mastering the traits of the devils means seizing opportunities and not being hesitant. Vera's victory was made up of unsettling stones, advancing slowly and completing the task. Although it seemed simple, it was difficult. Vera said, 3 people working together to attack will make it easier to win. She said this, so Oliver added, "You stay calm. We plan to go to the 2nd floor next." So, Vera told me to remember this. Yes, okay, I went back to the past when Ophelia was a bit angry at the flowers, eventually becoming acquainted with Ophelia, thinking she was like the others and became strange after talking to me, but amusingly it was no problem. Still holding hands, from there we became close friends. Vong, who had just met her, held her hand without feeling it was strange, maybe because of her beauty. Back to the present, the funny thing was she only met Ophelia according to an agreement between the 2 houses. However, from this usual time, I hope Ophelia feels happy with this person. Vera led the whole group into the forest alone, despite it being dangerous, ignoring what her mother said about wandering alone. Here, to help the Sigai fish, the group soon returned to the path as they might be attacked by Ophelia's ghost every 5 hours. Tying my arm as if it were strange, the little one wanted to rest, eat cake, and was scared. Not daring to speak, some brothers sat and ate pieces of cake, talking pleasantly. Initially not noticing, they thought he had to go save his best friend, Oliver, to get water. But actually, he was talking to Teresa, who had been following him for a long time. Oliver's brothers and cousins were looking to help him on the 2nd floor, but this place was dangerous, so Teresa wanted to take her brother home. Oliver always asked why they didn't follow orders but stopped me. Teresa said that since Oliver served as a general, He was officially the highest authority. Soon, someone would replace Teresa. So, sir, use me as best as possible for Oliver. If it feels dangerous, inform me. But don't try too hard not to die. The whole group then arrived at the large Minsu, the gateway to the second floor, fascinated by some children walking along the tree trunks, wondering why not fly straight up to be quick. No, that's how I framed this thought, so Vera walked this way to be safe. Oliver asked why the maze was and what the sun was like. Vera explained how because it had been a long time since the sun hadn't set. So this is a paradise where plants don't sleep, this is a forest that doesn't sleep. We continued past confusing obstacles. How now it seems so little. Teresa had gone ahead to prepare the way for some to face the cave entrance. Vera said, "What you see, don't be afraid and don't attack like that." Then, when the large V appeared, ignoring the child who was very sad because of being beaten by Ophelia's ghost, Vera used the ghost or monkey's offensive reaction to ask them to stop fighting. Nana told me, "Leave me," and put down the sword, explaining her morality to me on TikTok. Hearing this child talk, I fell asleep. So like that, don't fall asleep, so I asked if you knew the monkey's sound. Nana said, conveying the universe's message that I could still read it, but with 3 monkeys, what would I eat? So, with a calm heart, they believed all of it, and Vera didn't expect it. These people were better than I thought. Here, Sue brought Lin to the maze to find Lin and told me, "Don't worry, like a dog." Sue said to rub my friend, not the dog talking, and went very fast. Be patient and help each other as if you were on this side of the universe. There was a strange noise, and a monkey came out of the cave. Above, there was the sound of a villain, a giant horse insect. They thought it was a very tight battle, but the insect launched its head at the monkey and a group of attackers attacked it. Rains attacked until there was an explosion like shattering dust, sliding into an attack. The child shot some donkeys on its back, becoming small, running with pants on the tree it pierced entirely. All the attackers attacked simultaneously, but the skin was too tough not to lose. Oliver guaranteed an attack on its weakness, but wherever he went, he said he broke his leg and shattered it. Think carefully, who would think their leg would grow back? Oliver mentioned that he threw a cold blast that broke this skin. Oliver did it loudly, and people impressed you very much, but when you think you will win, that is the most dangerous time to understand why you do not fight but stand in front of the bull. Oliver and his friends split into 3 directions, attacking him with sticks, bringing him down, and then sliding into kick under his chin. They also shot sticks at his back. This is a horse or a horse, Vera. Running into a face like that, I say it's not wrong. But it turns out Oliver took this piece of the shield to help, which is different from what happened in the universe of Dengue. And then making love using magic that freezes his brain too. All 3 were very happy because the burdensome people were so lucky not to die, Vera said. I don't join the battle, I want to train the children before winning and crushing monsters until break time, Vera asked. Oliver hasn't played with Pete for a long time, and why did he risk his life for that man? Oliver told about the first time Katie was almost buried alive by her son, and 5 people there also saved them from that encounter. The Cloud Dragon is generally the sweetest of all jokes. Pete gathered everyone with talent but still kept trying to catch you, and everyone loved Pete a lot, Vera said. Among us, it is hardest to understand you, though Oliver does not have the talent and tradition like Nanao and Chella. But everything in the textbooks can be different with 2 talented people like them because you are the main character. This woman thought Oliver had something in the past, so she strengthened Oliver's face as if she already knew a little. Vera saw that she was chatting and asked about the surprising past, so she took the excuse of being late and went there. And Jai also woke up. The youth saw Pete smelled something and it was okay. Suspected Pete was the princess who believed Pete was what Phinia did not expect to say, and threw her hand to her stomach to take 3 pills. The diamond medicine was a joke. This is a smoke bomb and a calling for help ball, and giving you because it broke like this, and Jai held it uselessly, so he naturally destroyed his stomach. So wouldn't Jai advise Pete when Phinia did not let the desire to escape just make a sound to tell people that the position could reverse the situation? Just carefully asking Pete's friends to receive the ball and decided to take everyone away from there.